Hello Guardians fans, and welcome back to Nerd Doc. With the third Guardians of the Galaxy film now in theaters, it's time to discuss the two credit scenes at the end of the movie. That means there will be spoilers for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 in this video. This is your spoiler warning. There are chapter timestamps, so you can jump to either credit scene, and if you're looking for information on the plot or ending of the film, you can find that video linked in the description below. You'll also find our video on where we think the Guardians go from here, a bio for the High Evolutionary, and more. As a reminder, Guardians 3 is still in theaters, so we can only show footage from the trailers. Please bear with us there, and if you have any questions about the credit scenes, or just want to share your opinion, leave a comment below. At the end of the film, most of the current Guardians team is dissolved. Gamora stays with the Ravagers, Peter goes back to Earth, Mantis begins her own personal journey, and Nebula and Drax take over the new community on Nowhere. That leaves Rocket as the new leader of the team. The mid-credit scene shows off this new team, which consists of Rocket Raccoon, Groot, Adam Warlock, Kraglin, Cosmo, and Phyla-Vell. Peter gifted Rocket a Zune when he left, and now Rocket has access to songs from the 2000s. He asks everyone what their favorites are, and gets responses like Britney Spears from Phyla-Vell. Groot is initially not visible, but then it's revealed that he's actually the stone-like formation towering over the team behind them. The Guardians are on a planet to protect the inhabitants of a town from a group of dangerous individuals. Once the individuals show up, the Guardians charge toward their enemies as the credits start to roll again. Taking a closer look at this scene, it appears as though some time has passed from the end of the movie until now. Groot is much bigger than he was before, somewhat resembling King Groot from the Marvel Contest of Champions game. While he did take on the form of Kaiju Groot at one point during the movie, it was a temporary transformation. This King Groot form seems to be his new default. During the movie, we're introduced to one of the High Evolutionary specimens, Phyla-Vell, who becomes a member of the new Guardians team in the mid-credit scene. Now you're probably wondering just who is Phyla-Vell. Based on what little we know of her in the MCU, there's already a stark contrast between the Phyla-Vell from Marvel Comics and this MCU version of the character. At various points in the comics, Phyla-Vell is a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy, so at least that part tracks. However, Phyla-Vell also becomes Captain Marvel and Quasar at various points in the comics, and is directly related to Captain Mar-Vell, the original male version of the character. Phyla-Vell is basically his daughter, but in a roundabout way. It gets complicated, but she's essentially more powerful than Carol Danvers. However, in the MCU, Phyla-Vell is one of the High Evolutionaries Animan. She was a prime specimen with seemingly endless energy and stamina. During the film, she was seen running on what is essentially a giant hamster wheel for hours without a break and with a very low heart rate the entire time. We also know she's extremely intelligent like many of the High Evolutionaries' other specimens, but beyond that, we don't know her powers or abilities. It seems unlikely she'll become Captain Marvel in the MCU, given that we already have Carol Danvers, Monica Rambeau, and even Kamala Khan. But with Phyla-Vell's young age, she could eventually grow into that role, or even become Quasar as the Guardians of the Galaxy team continues to evolve. In the second post-credit scene, we see Peter Quill back on Earth having breakfast with his grandfather. They have a fairly normal conversation about mowing the lawn, as Peter's grandfather is reading the newspaper. On the back of the paper is a headline referencing an alien abduction, which just so happened to occur to Kevin Bacon during the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special on Disney+. The movie ends with the note, "The legendary Star-Lord will return." There's obviously not much to this credit scene, but we can discuss where Marvel may be going with Peter Quill. For the time being, Peter seems to be done with the Guardians. He can always rejoin them at some point in the future, but let's explore what else he can do beyond the Guardians of the Galaxy. Most of Peter's experiences in the comics have involved the Guardians in some way, but given some of the recent MCU rumors, it seems Annihilation could be on the way. We already know Nova is coming, both Richard Rider and Sam Alexander, along with Silver Surfer. While just those few aren't enough for the entire Annihilation event, we know any MCU version of this comic event could be considerably different, just like Civil War, Infinity War, and Secret Invasion. Since Peter Quill is on Earth for the time being, he could run into Richard Rider, and eventually form the United Front team to fight against the Annihilation wave. The United Front in the comics was basically just a modified Guardians team, so it could be as simple as adding Nova and Peter to Rocket's new team to fight Annihilus and his cohorts, or we could get new characters such as Praxagora. Doing Annihilation would also give Marvel the opportunity to bring back Thanos, which seems inevitable at this point, considering Adam Warlock and Star Fox are both actively in the MCU now. It's hard to imagine those two characters running around without a Thanos to play off of. It can certainly be done, but why would Marvel introduce those characters without having a Thanos around? So what do you think of the new Guardians team? Do you think Phyla-Vell will become Captain Marvel or Quasar? And where will Peter eventually end up? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. For now, that wraps up this video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with someone who loves the legendary Star-Lord.